Stop. Don't put another dime into your financial plan until you've heard this. Think your financial plan is solid? I hear this all the time. In this video, I'm going to tackle the misconceptions and mistakes that keep you from growth, from misguided trust in financial planners to over-reliance on mutual funds and 401k plans. We'll also debunk the myth that being debt-free equates to financial freedom. Shocker, it's not. So first and foremost, when it talks about financial planning, you naturally think financial planners, don't you? Just so you understand, financial planners are paid to sell you crap, okay? I'm just gonna say it in the most financial lingo terms possible. Crap. Financial planners just sell you whatever they can sell you. Now, I didn't used to think this way. I used to be a financial advisor over 20 years ago. Now, I thought, and I think like this is true for most financial advisors and planners, is that I really was trying to help people. I thought I could help give them a leg up financially. The problem is after being in that industry for several years, I noticed a common trend. Most of the time, all the education I was getting was coming from the financial institutions that we sold products for. And then literally we call them financial products. What does that imply? We sell products. We offer these products to people. So these financial firms would create the products and then we would sell those products. You've probably seen a lot of these products. They're like different various types of mutual funds and annuities. And really when you dumb it down, that's all financial advisors offer. Just a variety of mutual funds and annuities. It's like Mexican food, which I love, by the way, but it's kind of like Mexican food, right? You look at the ingredients of a taco, you find out it's the same as a burrito. And then you find out it's the same as a tostada, right? And you find out it's the same as an enchilada. And you're like, it's just packaged differently. It just depends on how you use the tortilla, and that's what it is. And that's what financial planning really is. It's just Mexican food. You know, it's just being packaged in different ways, but it's really just mutual funds and annuities. Now, why is that all they offer? Because that is exactly what they make money from. They make their money from one of two things, either commissions that they're earning, and or two, they're making money from the fees that they charge you. That's it. That's all they do. So when they're giving you financial education, quote unquote, right? When they're giving you that kind of financial advice, just understand you got to take it with a big grain of salt. In fact, take it with a whole salt shaker of salt, okay? Because obviously they're gonna, to a hammer, everything looks like a nail. They're gonna try to fit you into that box. They're gonna try to sell you what they offer, but they're not gonna offer you other things. They're not gonna say, you know what, you should go buy a bunch of real estate investments because that's been proven to work more than my mutual funds that I'm selling you. They won't say that. Of course they won't. That's like a realtor saying, you know what, you should never buy a property, rent the rest of your life. It's the same thing. They're paid to sell you this stuff. So be careful of that. Know that anytime you listen to financial planners or those that work for financial companies as well, they give you the same advice so you put your money with them, lock it up there forever so they keep making income off of you rather than you making income off of it. Now, many times people look at financial planning, they say, oh, isn't that just like a 401k? Like my retirement account is my 401k. I'm max funding my 401k and that's what I'm doing for retirement. And hopefully Social Security can bridge the gap with anything missing. Understand that's pretty much what financial planning is for most people. Is, hey, if I'm putting money in my 401k, it's good. Now I'll tell you, like I used to think the same thing. I used to think if you put in 401ks and or mutual funds, yep, pretty much you do that for many years, you let the compounding interest work for you, you're gonna be free. But then I was surprised because then I sat down with my dad. And I remember my dad was kind of the inspiration that I went into financial planning in the first place because he was the kind of guy that says, you know what, work might just literally kill me. You know, from stress and from heart attacks or whatever it might be, I might just die working. So my inspiration was, can I get my dad his life back? And I remember after a few years of being a financial advisor, he said, Chris, when are you gonna sit down with me and be my financial advisor? And I said, that is a great point. So I sat down with him. And as I sat down with him, I looked at all the things he had done. He'd been stuffing money in his 401k. He was debt free. He paid off his house. And yet I had to say this to him. I said, Dad, if you want to retire today, and you're 61 years old, but if you want to retire today, you better hope you die in 5 years because that's how long your money will last you. It'll last you 5 years. This is a guy that loaded up his 401k, saved money in savings too, was debt-free, including his mortgage after like just 18 years. And yet I had to break the news of it wasn't enough. And that's the truth, guys, is that even with the 401k matches and everything else that you're told that's brainless, it's the no-brainer, you know, it's free money, why not take it? Hey, I get it. And I used to believe that too until I saw the results. And it wasn't just him. I've seen this with literally thousands of people's lives over the years. They save in these 401ks and it doesn't work. This is why out of Fidelity's tens of millions of clients that they have, only 299,000 have more than $1 million in their 401k as of 2023. That's a scary statistic, guys. That is something that should not be happening. And so 401k is not financial planning and it's not enough. No matter what you do, I don't care if you max fund it, it's not gonna be enough for you. Now, another problem I see as well is that mutual funds are high risk with mediocre returns. What do I mean by that? Let's be honest, right? I mean, you worry about debt ceilings and you worry about interest rates going up and down and you worry about inflation, you worry about whatever the latest and greatest trend is going on, and you worry if that's gonna affect your retirement accounts by 2-3% in just one day. Because yes, the market could tank that much, sometimes more in a single day. In a month, you could lose 5 or 10%. And you're just told to, take it up the rear and be okay with it, right? You're told to just say, I'm gonna be okay, just let it happen. Eventually, long term, this thing will go up. It'll be fine. I'm in it for the long haul. Well, what if you're right at the retirement and then that happens? How long do you have to wait for that long haul to work? This is why I saw clients in the year 2000 say they didn't get their money back until 2015. Because the stock market between 2000 and 2013, it was flat. And then after fees coming out, it took people another 2 years to make up for the fees that were coming out through the whole process. So it took 15 years just to get back to where they were, only to realize that inflation knocked out half of that buying power in the meantime. So they really lost 50% in a 15-year period. That should never happen, right? Mutual funds, they don't have great returns. It's not 10 or 12%. You look at the real rate of return of the S&P 500, it's just over 7.5% for the last 30 years. 7.5% is the real actual yield of the S&P. Not 10, not 12, 7.5, maybe 8% on a good time frame. But it usually doesn't go much more than that. So you have all this high risk, but really mediocre returns. That's not enough for you to become financially free. And I'll say this too. You don't have to be debt free to be financially free. I mentioned that at the beginning of this video, right? You have so many people, like you have the Dave Ramsey show, right? I remember people would call on the radio show all the time and they'd yell freedom, with the whole Braveheart music playing and all that kind of crap, right? But the truth is that those people, after they're done yelling freedom on his show, will then come to us later on saying, I'm not free. I'm not financially free because although I've paid off all my debt, I still have to live. There's still living expenses. All my expenses were not 100% debt, right? You still have to pay for utilities. You still have to pay for your home, even if it's just taxes and insurance, right? And the upkeep and the maintenance of that. You still have expenses. So how do you get enough passive income to keep coming in? Debt-free will not make you financially free. It can help, potentially, but it's not the answer. It's not the end point. That's why Dave Ramsey's poster children come to us and say, what do we do? And in some cases, for them to become financially free, we have to say, you know what, that house you just paid off? We might need to cash that money back out, invest it, and then you'll be financially free because we'll be able to make more than the mortgage payment that you're having. Guys, so don't believe for 1 second that being debt-free is actually gonna make you free in general. And then the last thing, the plans that you have, they have no diversification or cash flow. This is the biggest problem right here. One, you're not diversified. If you're just putting money in mutual funds, even if it's within a bunch of different stocks, it's still the same asset class called paper assets. Understand that like in 2008 as well as 2022, not only did stocks go down, but even what's considered to be conservative bonds, they're supposed to be safe, they went down as well. So it didn't matter where you put your money, you lost money. That's the thing, is that you're not really truly diversified. Diversification means you have money maybe in business and or real estate and or commodities like gold and silver and things like that, maybe oil and gas. You have money in different actual asset classes, different places, not just one place, which sadly, that's all financial advisors offer. They offer one asset class, so you're not diversified. Even though you might have little bits of money in all these different stocks, it's not diversified. And on top of that, guess what? Ultimately, you don't have cash flow. That's the thing. Like I had one client where he actually came on our podcast show and he said, hey, I had $1 million that my financial advisor said, good, you can now live on $30,000 a year for the rest of your life. And he said, no way am I gonna do that. I can't live on $30,000 a year with $1 million. Why be a millionaire to live as a broke millionaire? What did he do? He hired us. And the next thing you know, he's making now about $11,000 a month off that same $1 million. Now, is that guaranteed? Of course not. I'm not saying the results may vary, not guaranteed. All those kind of disclaimers I need to throw out here, right? But the truth is for him, he got his money working harder because it was focused not on just accumulating and then trying to pull off the money. And they're pulling off the money so that you don't run out of money. Instead, he's got investments that are paying him $11,000 a month and not touching the $1 million. So the $1 million is still there and he's earning cash flow off that money too, drastically changing the course of his life. This is what we see happening in so many times and places, but yet you'll never see financial advisors saying, oh, here's a way you can diversify, or here's a way you can create passive income right now. Why? Because their products don't offer it. They just say, here's how you can try to live on as little as you possibly can, hopefully live on less than the interest, and with inflation and everything else, you won't run out of money by the time you die. This is why people that are invested in mutual funds have fear of running out of money even in retirement. Guys, you don't want to be in that place. We don't have to have a crystal ball to see the future, because the future is now for many of these people that believed these same things that I just told you about here. So guys, this is not it. This is not all inclusive. You can do so much more. Keep watching the next video in the Stop Doing Wrong series and see what else you'll be doing that's changed your financial life today.